You ready, Maria?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. The time now is 7:03 p.m. Requirements of the Sunshine Law. This meeting was advertised in the Burlington County Times on January 5th, 2017. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, would you all please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you. I'd like to also welcome all guests, and will we have a little baby? Him especially. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Lopez.
Present.
Committeewoman Smith-Hartman. Committeewoman Talisa.
Present.
Committeeman Wisniewski.
Here.
Mayor Daniels.
Here. I'd like to approve tonight's agenda, 6/19/2017.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Lopez.
Yes.
Smith-Hartman. Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. Special meeting minutes from May 31st, 2017. What say you?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lopez.
Yes.
Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes, thank you. Regular meeting minutes of June 5th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Lopez.
Yes.
Talisa.
Yes.
Wisniewski.
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. Thank you. Monthly communications and reports, communications are posted on the bulletin board out in the foyer. Tonight, scheduled appointments, 7 p.m. Swear in new Class 2 police officers, Mr. Corey Davis and Matthew Nagel, and swear in new firefighter/EMT, Anthony Lapone. So I guess we'll go ahead and get to it. Come on. Okay. Excited? Smile, smile. Here we go.
You gonna start with Corey Davis?
Okay, we're going to start with Corey Davis first.
You wanna hold the Bible?
Hold on, Aja. More family?
Raise your right hand. Just repeat after me. I, Corey Davis.
I, Corey Davis,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. They look younger and younger than each other.
I, Matthew Nagel,
I, Matthew Nagel,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States,
and the Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
on the authority of the people,
and the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of Class 2 police officer
of Class 2 police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
And if you shall choose, so help me God.
So choose. And my so choose.
Congratulations.
Yeah, he makes us sound like it's recording.
Don't worry, I didn't say that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I, Anthony Lozano,
I, Anthony Lozano,
They can
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
firefighter, EMT,
firefighter and city
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Welcome. Finally, full time.
To the two new Class 2 firefighters, Class 2 police officers, and to the one firefighter, the one thing that I really just like to say to each and every last one of you is, welcome aboard. Thank you for choosing West Hampton Township to serve your community. This is a great community, a community that quite frankly is like family. Recently, had an opportunity to talk about the virtues of what it means to be a police officer / a firefighter. And really, of all of the things that I could say about the service, you guys are the ones who run towards. When we are dialing 911, I'm reminded that we're running away, or we're looking to you to get there, no matter how fast. We want you to get there. That of all of the things can really be summed up in 4 simple words. You make a difference. You make a difference. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you, and I look forward to your noble service here in West Hampton Township. Thank you. And we're not going to have any cake tonight, from what I understand, but what I am going to do is relieve you of having to sit through our council meeting tonight. So if you please wish to take your leave, be safe getting home, And thank you all for coming out tonight.
Yeah. First one I had was still crying. Oh yeah, his eyes are red, tearing up and everything. Yeah. Nope. We went to the boardwalk in Ocean City yesterday.
Cooler down there?
It was cooler. It was very windy.
Oh, no, you-
Probably the entire ride home, which is fine. I mean, she didn't cry in bed.
Sorry about the bed?
No, she cried like I'm
Hello. I'm sorry.
Did you guys want to go out there real quick? Did you want to go out there real quick just to say something? You want to
No,
go?
not here. We don't have an environmental.
Do you want to go out there to say
For a
anything?
different township?
I didn't know if you were gonna go
I
take
didn't
pictures
have an
with them.
environmental.
I don't want to control me. I'm not. Nobody. No, I didn't know. That was
Yeah, come on, let's go take a quick picture, come on.
No, they're closing the door already.
No, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna adjourn for the purposes of 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
All right,
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Where we at?
We're at.
We're back in session. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open the meeting up for public comment. But before I do, I'm just asking the indulgence of all of our adult guests for the purpose of having a young man who is going for his Eagle Scout, and I understand that he has an exam tomorrow. So I do not want us to be the excuse for him either not doing well or necessarily not getting the necessary rest that he needs. So I'm going to ask, sir, would you come on up and represent or explain to us what idea that you have? Hi. Hello.
Thank you, Ms. Carrington and Ms. Curran and Mr. Mayor for fitting me in this Monday early in the meeting.
Not a problem.
I'm Aiden Sharp. I'm from Burlington Township. I've been in West Hampton Troop 117 for seven years now. I'm working towards my Eagle. I'm 2 merit badges away and 1 service project.
Okay.
I came across an opportunity at Timbuktu Civil War Cemetery with Ms. Curran to build 2 benches for the cemetery and preserve a sign that was built back in 2004 for the cemetery.
Okay.
So, Ms. Curran, do you have a picture? So, these are the plans I have for the benches, 2 benches I will build with my troop for the cemetery.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
This is the picture of what the sign looks like and what the old benches used to look like when it was constructed in 2004.
Mhm.
The sign has had some damage, but considering it's been 13 years, it actually still looks very good. But the benches are completely rotted away and have to be taken away because they were rotted. So my plan is to build those two benches and then put some sort of plexiglass or a wood sealer on the sign so it will no longer chip away from weather. So I did some of the math and it cost approximately $200. I already had some wood from the Air Force, so that will take it down to about 180 because I worked at the Air Force last summer and I was able to grab some scrap wood that is still in good condition that can work for the project.
Okay.
I will also be putting wood sealer on those benches so that they do not rot away.
Okay. Can you tell us briefly what some of those costs might be in the 180?
Yes.
I understand, like, there may be some topsoil needed.
Yes.
Okay.
So the number I have for the wood, it would be about $80.
Okay.
That is wood that I would need in addition to the wood I already have. For other things like sandpaper, screws, and wood glue, that would be, and sealer, it would combine with the wood to be about $180. Other stuff like the topsoil and maybe some flowers and stuff would add maybe like $50. Most of the tools that we'll be using would be things that we already have to use, like shovels and trowels and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to touch base with the West Hampton Historic Society on Wednesday to make sure they're okay with this and take any suggestions that they have. And I'm also going to talk to the representatives from the Timbuktu Committee to make sure that they're also okay with me doing this.
Okay.
So I guess what we need to do is authorize Mr. Sharp having access to our property. If the other groups agree, I'd like him to give him authorization to enter the property to perform the work. And if you guys make a motion to that effect, I'll be happy to write him a letter for his report.
I'll make the motion to give, what's your last name again?
Agent Sharp.
Mr. Sharp, access to the Timbuktu site so he can do this work.
And I second it.
Any discussion? Further discussion?
I think it's wonderful that you chose this as one of your projects.
The only thing that I wanted to ask was, I ran into Aiden and Ms. Kern earlier, and you were talking about the funding. Were you fine with the $180 being donated by the Historic Society?
I'm gonna.
Okay. I spoke to her before, and Mrs. Kern had suggested if the township would be interested in doing something. I don't think we normally do, but I had told her, as a committee person, I wouldn't mind helping out and meeting the other half. So I don't know if any other committee members are
Sign us up if,
willing to put up.
after the meeting, whatever is the difference or the
Yeah.
totality, I'm sure we wouldn't have a problem
Yeah.
coming up with the
Okay.
difference.
Wanted them to
And
know.
Eden, the mayor pointed this out to me tonight when I was talking to him, that we might have some of the materials you need, such as topsoil from our Public Works Department, in which case we might have enough for what your needs are. So I can reach out to the director tomorrow, and maybe we can touch base, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Do you have any further questions of us?
No, thank you.
All right, well, we'd like to thank you for taking on this service project. Obviously, we surely can use it down there. And I'd like to thank you and wish you every success moving forward.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just because we have another scout who's also here this evening, sir, and he's just here observationally, but just nevertheless wanted to give you an opportunity to stand and speak.
Well, he comes up just a point of information since we did not do a roll call on the
Or you want to
motion.
do all in favor?
We can do it.
Is all in favor of the motion we made for Aiden Sharp?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, by acclamation.
Thanks.
Sir?
Hello, my name is Daniel McGinnis, and I'm here because I'm working on the communications merit badge, and it's a prerequisite where I have to come and take notes about the committee meeting.
Okay, awesome.
Welcome.
I'd like to thank you and welcome you to this evening, and thank you for having the courage, strength, and the temerity to stand up. They say if you stay ready, it keeps you from getting ready, so you're already ready. Thank you for coming before us. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Thank you to all of the adults in the room for allowing the scouts to go before and the adults. I'd like to open it up to any other public comment on agenda items. Mr. Mumbai?
John Mumbauer, 29 Lancaster Drive. Mr. Mayor, one of the town council people, can you go into, I'm curious about the correspondence from the Mount Holly Municipal Utilities Authority regarding exactly who is affected by this rate increase?
That's correct.
And what the committee's understanding of that increase is?
Okay, all right, thank you. John, did you want to?
Yes, I was going to save it for my, for the end of the meeting, but being that it was brought up, there's been a lot of misinformation being put out there. A resident I spoke to a few days ago asked me about it because they know that I work at the MUA. The rate increases are for connection fees, for new developments that come in, or new homeowners that want to tie into the sewer. If you're already paying a sewer bill, it won't affect you. The other rate increase is, I think, a $25 fee for landlords that may want their tenants to be billed directly and not through them, or something along the lines of that. So if you're currently paying a sewer bill, your rates will not go up. And I think that some of the information that's out there, residents themselves think that they need to attend the meeting because their sewer bill will go up. And I had informed them that unless they are building a new house or building a development, they will not be affected.
To answer his question, if I can, the concern that I have, and I think you were the first one who brought this to my attention, and you submitted a letter, I don't remember the date, your letter was submitted months ago, though, about this concern. The Mount Holly MUA has raised our rates to the tune of 40% in the last couple of years. The rate increase for the connection, it affects us, and it affects everyone who lives in the town in the sense that should you decide to connect into their service by way of a new property, or a business decide to do business in West Hampton Township, pending the part of the township, if it's not Willingboro, if it's the rest of the area that's serviced by the Mount Holly MUA, you're going to be subjected to now this increased connection fee. What will that do to business? The Mount Holly MUA has, or is among the highest rate for both the sewer delivery and also the connection fees in all of South Jersey. Just to give you kind of an understanding, Medford MUA, they're charging sewer connection fees $8,453. Mount Laurel MUA is at $2,556. Pemberton MUA is at $3,034. These are again for connection fees.
The Willingboro MUA is at $4,674. Mount Holly is at $4,884 for Mount Holly residents. They get a discount. Lumberton, West Hampton Township, and the other towns that are affected, we're at $7,326 for connection rates. Those are the current rates, not counting what they're proposing to increase. What is that doing to business in West Hampton and Lumberton and the affected towns? Now let's talk about sewage flow rate per 1,000 gallons. Medford MUA is at $6.72 per 1,000. Mount Laurel's at $6.45 per 1,000. Pemberton is at $3.27 per 1,000. Willingboro is at $5.29 per 1,000 gallon. Mount Holly MUA for Mount Holly residents, because they get a discount, they're at $6.07. West Hampton residents are paying higher than all of the numbers that I have read. They're paying $8.04 per 1,000 gallons. The issue is what was done with the 40% that was just increased. Where is the money going to on the next increase for this connection? We read on the Burlington County Times, Lumberton has hired an attorney that has done some homework on the connection fees and what's been going on. And it was learned that the Mount Holly Municipal Council or Committee has been increasing the payments in lieu of taxes to the Mount Holly Municipal Utilities Authority. Now, one would say, what's the problem with that? They have to pay taxes. They should pay taxes. The problem with that is that the Mount Holly Municipal Utilities Authority is governed by the Mount Holly Township Council. So they're raising, in essence, taxes on themselves. And then they pass on that tax burden on the ratepayers by way of the increase in the connection fees and the increase on the sewage charges we all just recently paid. So technically speaking, West Hampton residents are subsidizing the Mount Holly budget by these rate increases. Now, I've received a copy of the West Hampton Township agreement for these services between Mount Holly MUA and West Hampton Township. And it says that our ratepayers should only be paying for rate increases for the following reasons: the maintenance of the current system, the acquisition of new infrastructure that's needed to treat, and capital projects that have been previewed or introduced to all affected, I believe it's 4 towns, I could be mistaken, 4 towns that are serviced by the MUA, and they should receive an approval or some type of indication from the governing body, a committee like ours, to say, we understand, we agree with this, this is justifiable, and then we go ahead and readopt the rate fee and introduce them to our residents. To my knowledge, West Hampton Township, and I've requested them, has never received a heads up on any infrastructure project that the Mount Holly MUA has signed up for. All right? We haven't received a report. We haven't received a request to raise any rate increases. They've just been doing it. I started getting into this when you brought this to my attention a few months ago. So hopefully, I think there's sufficient reason for residents to go out on July 13th. I don't know where it's going to be held, but it's in the agenda somewhere. If you are concerned about it, I do encourage you to go. I'm going to try my hardest to be there as well. So that's just my concern regarding the rates.
If it's okay, I think that when you started your explanation, you said that you were going to answer his question. So whose rates go up? Do the residents that currently have sewage, do their rates go up?
Should a resident decide to expand their house and they need extended connections, their rates are going up. Should someone choose to build a house in West Hampton Township, their rates will go up.
I think that that's false right there. If you already have a sewer connection and you build an addition, they're not going to run another sewer connection for the back of your house. So if you build a new house and you have to tie into their main, then you will have to pay a higher rate. The rate increase will affect you. Now, for West Hampton residents, I believe it's $75 difference on new construction. So I think to answer your question, it will not affect you at all, Mr. Mulbauer.
And just to end this discussion, we can continue with the rest of the agenda items. The fact is, we still haven't heard the answer to the question.
I think that you should go to the meeting then.
What are these funds going to? why the rate increase. It's been asked on numerous occasions, and no one has answered the question, why are residents of West Hampton Township receiving an unfair burden of higher rate increases? We've already endured it for these previous years. And then I would add this, when you look at the totality of our relationship with Mount Holly Township, West Hampton residents send our students to the Rancocas Valley High School, regional high school, right? And the current funding formula shows that West Hampton Township has the same amount of students as the Township of Mount Holly, plus or minus 5 or 6 students. We have the same, 900 and something students. Yet Mount Holly pays less than 50% of what West Hampton pays in its share of funding those schools for the Rancocas Valley Regional High School. So when you're looking at the totality, there is a unequal or disbalanced burden placed on West Hampton taxpayers that is benefiting the Township of Mount Holly. And as a representative of West Hampton residents, I think it would behoove myself and my colleagues to look into anything that may be considered disproportionate or even has the perception of being disproportionate, and we should get to the bottom of it and answer the questions. So I'm willing to do that.
Lastly, I understand what Committeeman Lopez is saying, but Mr. Mumbauer had asked a question about an agenda item that was answered, and you went off topic, and then you bring up the school. I think it was a simple question. We seem to get off topic, and I think that the questions that they asked should be answered, and we should move along. If anyone has any questions, it says right here, July 13th, they have a meeting at 6 o'clock. Mr. Lopez should attend. Maybe he should attend a school board meeting or a Mount Holly Township meeting if he has an issue with them. But that's not what we're here to do today.
Okay. Let's move on. Are there any other, Karen?
It's an agenda item.
Is it,
No, it's agenda item.
number 9?
Yeah. It's okay. Okay.
No, Gary, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, so it's just, it's item agenda number 9, it's on the professional reports. I just happened to look in the packet that was posted up there with the minutes and the agendas, and I had a question about the fire officials report. In the fire officials report, there's a mention of 7 fire investigations were necessary within the township during the month of May. 6 were closed, and a 7th was referred to the Township Police Department. I'm just wondering if they're going to be able to speak to that a little bit, because Chief Otto's report didn't indicate there was no category for arson, so I'm hoping it wasn't an arson. I'm just wondering if you'll be able to speak to that a little bit, just for safety purposes for the citizenry.
The 7th incident is actually listed in the detective report under our station house adjustment, so the all do not have a detective.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, thank you, Gary. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Closed public comment. Moving right along. There are no continued agenda items tonight. In terms of old business, there is none. New business. Police report? Great job on the hiring of the 2 new recruits. Chief had an opportunity to be part of the process along the way. Quite frankly, opened my eyes, and I think we got 2 of the finest that was out there. EMS report? Okay. Public Works, Mike Meenan is not out here tonight. Is it still raining?
What?
Coming down hard? Was it still?
Rain.
Anybody just came in?
No, he was out today, but the Public Works report, we had some computer issues, but it should be posted by tomorrow.
All right. Trees down or something like that, you know. Nevertheless, moving right along to resolutions. Resolution 90-17, payment of vouchers. This resolution approves the payment of bills through 6/16/2017. What say you?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. Resolution 9117, Burlington County Safe Streets. This resolution authorized West Hampton Township Police Department to enter into the Burlington County Cooperation Agreement for Mutual Law Enforcement Aid.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. Resolution 92-17, Chapter 159, Alcohol Education Rehabilitation Fund. This resolution permits the insertion of a special item of revenue into the local budget in the amount of $1,479.82.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. Resolution 93-17, bond release. Hampton Behavioral Health Center, Block 202, Lot 4-01. This resolution authorizes the release of the performance bond as per the engineer's recommendation and the posting of a 2-year maintenance bond.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. Resolution 94-17, renewed 2017-18 liquor licenses. This resolution authorizes the renewal of all West Hampton Township liquor licenses for the period of July 1, 2017 through June 30th, 2018.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. Resolution 95-17, refund homestead rebates. This resolution authorizes the refund of homestead rebates to properties that are exempt from taxes, 41 Sawgrass Drive and 749 Holly Lane.
Motion?
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, solicitor. I have a question. Are we legally bound to give the authority of a refund, being that they are exempt from taxes?
Being that what?
Are we legally bound for them to get a homestead rebate because they are exempt from taxes?
Well, if I can
Are they
jump in
fully-
here.
Are they fully exempt, the properties we're dealing with?
Well, I talked to the tax collector about this today. These properties weren't, remember that the homestead rebate is very far behind. So what they did was just apply the 2014 homestead rebates to the third quarter that we're in now, the 2017. So at the time, they weren't tax exempt, but they became tax exempt. And so now we can't give them a credit because they don't pay taxes, so there's nothing to give a credit. So therefore, we have to issue them the checks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you'd be obligated then.
We are.
Yeah, that's the
Obligated.
situation. Yeah, if it's for a back year when they were paying taxes,
The
correct.
state gives us the money, and then we give people a credit on their taxes, but since they don't, we have to,
There's
we
nothing
can't,
to-
we
Well, that's what I wanted to know. Legally,
So
we
there's
are
nothing to credit.
obligated.
It's
Oh,
just-
right.
Correct.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. Resolution 96-17, authorize expenditure of funds for Cullen Way. This resolution approves the decision of the West Hampton Board of Education to award the alternate bid to American Asphalt in order to mill and overlay Cullen Way. The portion the township is doing will cost $39,470. Funds are available from the bond ordinance 3-2017. What say you?
Motion?
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. Resolution 97-17, authorize donation of surplus property. This resolution authorizes the donation of surplus personal fire department property no longer needed due to it being obsolete per the attached Schedule A.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just one question. I know Terry Farwell Firefighter Fund was selected. What's that process to select?
Mr. President, with the ones that they're nearby, I think there was no talking about the equipment, with their warehouse, and then as departments in South America or even deep South, United States, as they need equipment, they get it moved down to them. So a lot of the stuff that we're picking up is fittings to those equipment that's probably close to 30 years old that we don't even have those that will sell those fittings.
Thank you.
I have a question too, because we always talked about this, how there's expiration dates on all the equipment, on the helmets, and for good reason. I mean, you know, you can only wear a helmet for so much time, and then it's not as durable. So that's why, you know, I know that we're donating it, which I think is very nice, but is it safe?
The equipment in South America,
Yeah, okay, so it's all going to your,
yes, where there's not many safety laws and standards.
and anything helps?
No bullshit.
Okay, just making sure it was, all right. Not like another police department where, okay, well, we don't have to have our taxpayers pay, and, you know, we'll just get it from somewhere else. But you're underprivileged countries. Very good. That's it.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. Resolution 9817, hire police officers. This resolution authorizes the appointment of two Class 2 officers, Corey Davis and Matthew Nagel, effective July 10th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. Resolution 99-17, hire firefighter/EMT. This resolution authorizes the appointment of EMT firefighter Anthony Lapone, effective July 1, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just one comment, and it just came to mind. I know we do the swearing-in ceremony ceremoniously, but I think just so that we can be accurate parliamentary-wise, we should put that on the top of the agenda before we do the swearing-in ceremony.
I agree.
Second.
Yeah, I don't have no problem. I believe that in the past, we've done that before, to memorialize it. However, it should be noted that perhaps we should do two resolutions if, for the purposes that you were saying, because these resolutions don't take effect until, the first one won't be until July 1st, and the second one won't be till July 10th, so it's almost moot. So, Mr. Solicitor, is there anything perfunctory we should be doing by way of swearing of oath?
Well, one of the things, I mean, you have the resolutions tonight, you have the two officers on one resolution. I would just do a separate resolution for each person, and perhaps do them at the beginning of the meeting before you swear the people in, because you kind of don't know what's going to happen with the resolution until the vote is taken.
So, in the future, what we'll do is seriate them, divide them, and go
You're the
each
clerk's in
person.
charge of the agenda, so she'll note that.
Awesome. Thank you, Mayor. No additional discussion. Roll call, please.
Lopez?
Yes.
Delisa?
Yes.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes, thank you. Moving along to ordinances. Ordinance 5-2017, ordinance authorizing the sale of Block 401, lots 2-01 and 8. This is the second reading. This ordinance authorizes the sale of property owned by the Township of West Hampton to LIHTC, LLC, subject to the terms of redevelopment agreement between the parties. This is a second reading. I will open to the public. I will close to the public. Any discussion? There being no discussion, roll call, please.
I'm sorry, did we have a motion in a second?
No, there wasn't a motion or a second.
Make a motion.
Second.
I should have did that before.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
We have a
full move.
first,
And we have a second.
we have a second. Do we have any discussion? None? All right, well, look, I thank my colleagues for keeping me sharp. Roll call.
Lopez,
Abstain.
Talisa,
Yes.
Wisniewski,
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for their help. Ordinance 6-2017, ordinance authorizing an extension of open space tax. This is a first reading. This ordinance authorizes submission to the voters of West Hampton Township at the general election on November the 7th, 2017, an extension of the open space tax. This is 0.02 per $100 of assessed value for a period not to exceed 20 years. What say you?
Motion? I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Just one comment. I've heard from residents before tonight's meeting, just with a word of caution and recommendation that should this pass, that the Township Committee thoroughly police the way the funds are used to ensure that they honor the intentions. I don't think the comment was meant to suggest that we haven't been doing that, but, you know, they'd like to see more open space preservation with the open space funds. If there were any major initiatives or projects for any department, and that the committee needed to tap into the open space funds for it because it somehow fit the mission of the open space, that we engage the public as much as we can in that process. So I promised that I would mention that to the committee colleagues, and so I've kept that promise.
Thank you. Any further discussion? This is a first reading, so it's not open to the public. Roll call, please.
Lopez,
Yes.
Talisa,
Yes.
Wisniewski,
Yes.
Daniels.
Yes. Thank you. Correspondence. Mahali Municipal Utilities Authority, there's a rate hearing on July 13, 2017. This was rescheduled from June 8, 2017. It's in the Municipal Utilities Authority office, 37 Washington Street, Mahali. The time is 6 p.m. Department of Solid Waste, public hearing on 8/9/17 at 7 p.m. Cinnaminson Municipal Building, addition of Class B Recycling Center. DEP 30th Anniversary of New Jersey Statewide Recycling Act, ideas of increasing recycling rates for municipalities. And the only other thing I have is some correspondence. The emerald ash borer was discovered in New Jersey in May 2014 in Bridgewater and Hillsborough Townships, Somerset County. Infestations throughout the U.S. and Canada have killed tens of millions of ash trees since 2002. You're receiving this letter because EAB had been trapped in your municipality during the 2017 season. So, this is a highly invasive, what is it, a beetle? Someone to ash the borer?
Yeah, it's a little flying beetle
Yeah, right,
that
yeah.
destroys.
We have an expert here, a resident who I talked to in the break, who might be able to help us out with that question.
Okay. It is a beetle, sir? Okay, highly invasive, and if it hits your tree, just take it down. Is that one of those things?
Yes.
Mm.
Chances are the tree will succumb, especially if it's mass impact. So private landowners could do stem injections and treatments. However, in the forest environment, there will be a lot of loss of chances of that throughout New Jersey. There will be a huge loss.
Is there any timetable, sir? Like, you know, when you hear about things like this, you know, you think apocalyptically. Like, what happens to our trees at some point?
It has a very good chance of devastating the genus of Brasilius ash. There are two species of ash, like blue ash, that are not as susceptible as the whites and the greens and the blacks, but the lake states have been experiencing mortality for just over 10 years.
Okay.
The original find in West Hampton was in 2014, and that beetle being tracked was, I believe, in Long Ridge Park. So the beetle is spread.
Okay. Has there been any efforts amongst the people who study insects to some kind of way do something with the DNA and inject that, whereas they kill themselves off?
That's a good question. Because the beetle is from Asia, there's been no natural predators here. But what, say, APHIS, USDA, and the New Jersey Department of Agriculture are finding out is that there's predatory wasps that they could rear and release into the environment that could prey upon the emerald ash borer itself. But as far as messing with the DNA, there's, as far as I know, there's not anything out there like that. Perhaps over time when the beetle's here, something will co-evolve with it. Maybe when other wasps will be predatory to it. But the outlook for ash isn't good.
Okay.
And we're not even recommending people replant it, certainly at this time, because it could just be reinfested.
Wow.
Is there a certain time of year that it brings? We should be aware that every ash is Saddle Ridge's day.
In our Shadow Ridge?
Yes.
The ash trees.
Every home. The ash is dead. Yes, Robert's Run, every single one.
Is there another species of plant that they should be planting? So, I mean, we can't have a bear.
A variety of species is a diversity of species. It's a good thing. You just have to keep in mind where you don't want to go back to a monoculture. Not many of us were around, but if you remember the green Dutch elm disease, it was all, the elms were planted in monocultures on streets, so all over the place. So when the Dutch elm disease came in and wiped them out, a lot of the areas they planted ash. So now those ash are getting hit by the emerald ash borer. So perhaps a shade commission or a reinvigoration of your own environmental committee with other people who have an idea of ash or other species that could be good replacements. So the New Jersey Department of Agriculture has a good website that can give you ideas on species selection and the diversity of species. And, perhaps the township could hire a township forester. Funding available, of course.
And your profession, because you're well versed. You are a forester.
I'm a resident in New Jersey, so years a resident.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Very enlightening. And somewhat scary in some ways.
Yeah.
I tell you. Thank you, sir. Moving right along. Dates to remember. Sunday, July 16th at 9 a.m., Torranceville Swim Club's first annual Bill McGee Memorial Masters Swim Meet. Tuesday, August 1st, 7 to 9 p.m., National Night Out, One Academy Drive, Public Safety Building. So we understand that this year the Chiefs will be in the dunk tank, as the mayor and the deputy mayor did the dunk tank. That water got brought awfully quick. Okay. All right. Looking forward to that. Promises to be real fun. At this time, do we have any additional dates? Any additional dates? At this time, I'd like to open up the meeting for public comment. We're open. Ms. Karen?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor, Council. I thank Council Mayor. Council, I thank you for having Aiden Sharp, our young scout, come up early tonight because he has an exam to study for. And tomorrow's his last day of school, so he needs to get an A+ on his test tomorrow.
Understood.
So I thank you for that. And there's other issues, but I'm not going to go into it tonight. Meeting John today at the township, and I apologize because, John, I didn't know who I was talking to.
I was in street
I
clothes,
only see
that's
you
it.
here, and I spoke to you outside at one evening that we spoke, and I'm thinking, I'm going home, who is this man that I'm talking to?
He's
So-
just a normal guy, right?
It was just like, you look like a normal person. I mean, I see people in
That's it.
eyes but
I
anyway,
only wear
I
this-
thought, I said, who's this man I'm talking to? But, I'd like to go into more about that at another township meeting, about the, Historic Commission and, Aiden will be discussing more on that subject, okay? It's not a done deal with the West Hampton, with the Historical Society on Wednesday night, and if we approve money, we will approve money as we did with the monument. So, we have a way to go, but this is a young man that is coming into our village, in our town, that wants to make a difference. And the 8th grade graduation, which was part of it, was my granddaughter, was beautiful. Mayor, you did a great job in your speech to the 8th graders, and everyone that spoke did a wonderful job. I have a 3-year-old granddaughter that I have a ways to go because she lives up in Ocean Grove, so I hope to see her graduate somewhere along the line, maybe. But anyway, I want to thank you, and I also want to bring up a subject that is very dear to my heart. I was not able to attend the planning board meeting last week, the first Wednesday of the month. It hurts me very much. I just like the idea of having a super Wawa. I think it's a very unfair thing to have voted yes on, and then to add a restaurant to it. That sort of bothers me in a lot of ways. Number one, because I wasn't there and wasn't able to say what I would have liked to have said, most super Wawas are built away from residents. This upsets me. This intersection is not an intersection that we're ready to have the traffic that we're going to have. And yes, we will have tractor and trailers stopping on the road, going into the Wawa, even though they're not supposed to go into the Wawa for gas or anything, but they can park their trailers. We have a new warehouse that many employees will be walking or driving there for their lunch or dinner or whatever. But my main thing that I want to let you know and what I did in adding a restaurant, and I don't know if it's chicken filet or what kind of fast food restaurant are we planning on having?
It's rumored.
Yeah, it's rumored. What I can tell you is, based on the drawings,
sorry?
I said it's rumored, but based on the drawings, it does have a particular identity that's not so much like McDonald's or some of the other restaurants, so.
It's rumored that it's Chick-fil-A.
Okay, well, that sort of upset me more because where it's being built, I don't think that it's a very good location, and you hear, as every township, and I read the Times every day about what other townships are doing and how townships are fighting industrial parks and things. My feelings go back to, I went to speak to Mr. Mayberry Sr. Mr. Mayberry grew up here in West Hampton. He farmed all his life. Spring Meadows is now where his house used to be, and he paid to have the house moved, and he lives in that house. And he's a very kind, gentle man. And I went to see him a week ago Sunday, because just to talk to him, to say how sorry I was to hear that he was going to have a super Wawa and a restaurant right near where he sits. And what he said to me, he said, Janet, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. So he wasn't angry, he wasn't, disappointed. I guess he thought that it was going to come sooner or later. But I felt very angry, I felt mad, sad that this is coming. And I thought maybe a new Wawa, we certainly could use a new Wawa with more parking, but a gas station in that area with all the residents around it, and I travel a lot of different, up North Jersey, Route 9, 195, anyway, to make a long story short, every Wawa that I see that is a super Wawa is not in a residential area. You go into a Wawa like we have on Wood Lane, Springside Road, I thought that, just hoping that would become a Wawa that would be what it is now, only larger and more cars. But to add a restaurant to that corner, and we don't know what's going to come across the street, and I can guess that it'll be a gas station whenever we find out why that gas station closed, or why, he left it. But anyway, that's basically, I'm thankful that you were to hear the young scout today, what he wants to do. He has a lot of work. I have a photo, as he showed you, that that sign was done by a scout in '04, and it's a pretty, very strong. The posts are like new. I mean, they're you can't move the posts. They're solid. They're not rotted on the bottom. The plexiglass is something that they're thinking of, and they will bring it before they commission whoever needs to hear the final part of what he is planning on doing in Timbuktu, which is dear to my heart. Again, I only went to see Bob because he was a farmer here all his life, and he had the house moved. And as you look at our township, going back 9-10 years ago, and we have a 9-story hospital coming our way. You see the issues that are happening in Mount Holly right now. We did not need that hospital. That's going to be additional police, EMT, well, EMT, they have their own needs. But we're going to need a lot of additional police officers for all that we have building right now, especially on Wood Lane Road. Wood Lane Road is going to be a nightmare. It already is. When you get out of your car at Walgreens, you get out of your car at Wawa at 10 o'clock at night. It's well lit, but you see people that, you normally don't see. I don't have anything against people that are standing there asking you for money or whatever. It happens all the time. But I just see with the hospital, the new developments that are coming in, and how that hospital ever got into West Hampton Township, I don't know, other than I'm not behind. I don't sit in the seats of the power that was given to allow this hospital. I will only say that it's going to be a nightmare when the hospital comes. I have nothing against virtual hospital. It's a life-saving hospital. But I have family that live a few houses away. They thought their house was going to be, they thought virtual would come and buy their house. But they stopped all of a sudden buying houses to come down and build. So, yes. South Spring Avenue, pretty close, and then they stopped. So, again, it's too late. Can we go back and do it? Can I hope in my lifetime I don't have to see it? But I just feel lost with the things that have happened in our township. And the hospital is here. It's going to be here. You can sell your property to whoever you want, and they get approval, and we end up with a 9-story hospital that the traffic's going to be a nightmare. When our engineers come in, when the freeholders come in, What have they planned for us to help us? Because I'm still working on Henry Rowland's property. It's going to waste, and it's a shame. But I thank you again
All
for
right, thank you,
hearing
Ms. Curran.
our young scout tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Ms. Guerrero?
Just had a couple of questions and then a comment. I just want to know what the current funds is on the open space. And then also wanted to know, as well, if the Township Committee have any plans on what they're going to do with the fund if it gets decreased in half based off the vote for the extra 2 cents.
Okay.
I'm looking, open space, we have $684,051.23. Year to date, including expenditures from there, equals $485,391.53. So $485,391.53. That is the most current balance.
Okay. And your second question was, what will we do if?
Right, 'cause I would think that the expenditures outweigh what your income is if you don't get the extra 2 cents in the referendum in November.
At this point, yeah. At this point, yeah. And this is just my 2 cents, and obviously the whole committee would need to opine and develop an agenda for the open space funds. But as tonight was the first public workshop, we started talking about the town center concept. We started talking about the need or lack of land in West Hampton Township. We're running into a serious problem where we don't have any land that's good for the township. I think as we continue, some of the concept renderings we've seen for the town center has a lot of open space, a lot of parkland, a lot of bike paths and walking paths, preserving a lot of land. So I would imagine that as we move down the road and we're discussing a town center and getting more serious with drawings and plans, we would be using open space land funds to earmark land and secure it for generations to come to ensure that West Hampton does look like some semblance of what we've come to know it as before we see all of the spots built out. So that's just one aspect.
Right. And I had 2 comments that they have to do with the workshop, since I didn't have the opportunity. The workshop kind of ran late. The first one is I agree that a township center, where it's originally looked at, part of the vision plan beyond 541, is probably at this point going to be somewhat infeasible due to the virtual hospital coming in, and that the Winter Farm and combination with the Pew Farm is probably the next best place to be looking at. Although, listening to some of the comments that you had in the workshop, some of the things that you also need to be aware of is that of all these different agencies that you need to get involved, that I believe the New Jersey Turnpike Authority eventually need to be involved as well, because if anyone that's living in that part of town is taking IRIC to Woodland Road knows that that intersection is horrible. Any potential increase in a town center without addressing that intersection and issue is probably not going to work. I would think that the township, as well with the New Jersey Turnpike Authority, would have to look at a new location for that bridge. My hopes would always be that Woodland Road would be a continuous road and work that into some type of plan.
That was discussed. We did bring that up.
And my last comment had to do with the IKEA Drive dedication. Listening to some of the comments that were made during the workshop, I agree that I believe that it would be a good idea for the township to reapproach Mr. Dolan about having less of a dedication versus the whole road. To me, it sounded like it was a cost issue for him, and as a resident of Spring Meadows, as well as other residents of Spring Meadows, I know we had pushed the idea of taking his northeast exit onto IKEA Drive and moving it as far south as possible. In doing so, this would basically make the dedication of IKEA Drive several hundred, maybe less than 1,000 feet, probably 800 to 900 feet, versus the whole stretch all the way up to Stemmers. So if it's a cost issue between Dolan and as well as a cost issue for the township, I think having a dedication of a lot less road, let's say 800 feet versus almost 3,000 feet, would be beneficial for the cost of Mr. Dolan, because now it became feasible, something that we might actually entertain, as well as if the township costs, 15-year plan or whatever. I know Mr. Dolan had expressed some concerns that southeast exit wouldn't be feasible due to some sightline issues, but looking at the plans as well as I think the township planner looked at it, a southeast exit would be probably most beneficial because it would give you the best sightline to the left. Sightline to the right would never really be required because the trucks exiting the property would never have a reason to take the left because it would have nowhere to go, nowhere to exit the industrial park. So again, I would hope that the township would approach Mr. Dolan with that type of idea. Take the site plan that he currently already took off the table to the last one he had, start looking at a southeast exit, and I think that would probably be workable for the township as well as for Mr. Dolan. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other public comment? Any other? Mr. Mumbauer?
Lancaster Drive. I just want to thank the committee members who do the types of things that we were talking about, the MUA, the disparity in the rate for the sewage that we pay as residents, as well as notifying us with things regarding the school board, RV, how much we pay compared to Mount Holly. Sometimes it's hard for residents to get that kind of information, and I understand this is not necessarily in your scope or lane of responsibility, but I do appreciate you doing that, for us residents to keep us aware of what's going on, so that maybe we can, get to certain meetings, get to a school board meeting, and address these type of issues. Regarding MUA, I was wondering if we can get a resident or somebody from West Hampton to sit on the board there, kind of like what Lumberton recently did, where they have I think a Gina La Placa, who's a Lumberton resident, who sits on that board. Can we get some sort of, representation? So that we have somebody there who understands what's going on and the effect it's going to have on West Hampton residents. Thank you.
Mr. Solicitor, or to the extent that those municipal bodies, and I know Willingboro has a MUA as well, the way they are constituted, can the townships who pay into that, can they petition to have a body?
You can certainly ask. I think that's what Lumberton did, and I think that's where that came from. A lot of it will have to do with the internal rules of the MUAR. They do have rules and bylaws as to who can be board members. I don't know if they have a requirement that there's a certain amount of members be from outside of Mount Holly or not. I think there may be something like that. But, yeah, I mean, you can certainly ask and you can certainly petition.
With that being said, wouldn't we all be in agreement that a resident of West Hampton Township should be serving on the board? Obviously, they have the appointing power. It's up to them. I wouldn't go so far as demanding that we have the authority to pick who serves on it. I would hope that they would come to the Township Committee and ask for recommendations, resumes of residents that are worthy of appointment to the board, and they would make that final decision. I think that's appropriate. But, in preparation for this meeting, since the meeting is on July 13th, would my colleagues consider responding to Mr. Mumbauer's request and consider asking, even if it's an informal, a letter on behalf of the township, requesting West Hampton would like representation on the Mount Holly Municipal Utilities Authority, and that they may consider us as well for potential candidates. We can forward to them for their consideration and final pick. I think that's awesome to do, and it's good to get out in front of that now before that next meeting.
What I would like to add is there is no residency requirement for the MUA board. You just have to apply, submit a petition, and anyone can go on there. But I do believe that the Mount Holly Township makes the appointments. Correct. And it's not the MUA that makes the appointments, it's the township.
Would you guys be against it?
The worst I can say is no.
No?
So, yeah.
So I'll make a motion.
Do we have to make a motion?
Yeah, because we need permission to send the communication,
I
right?
think that we probably have to discuss it before making a motion at the last second. But I don't know,
if we all agree, I mean, that
You can
we
give
would...
consensus, you can make an official motion, whatever you need.
Yeah, I'll make an official motion that we send a letter of communication on behalf of West Hampton Township to the Mount Holly Town Council and CC the Mount Holly Municipal Utilities Authority, requesting that West Hampton be granted representation on the Mount Holly Municipal Utilities Authority, and that the town council would consider resumes sent to them by the West Hampton governing body for consideration. Obviously, like Trish said and John said, it's their final say as far as who they pick and who do they want to put. But, you know, hopefully they'll consider some resumes we send their way.
I'll second that.
Okay. So we have a motion, and it's been properly seconded to send formal communication to the Mount Holly Council?
Mount Holly Town Council and CC to the Mount Holly Municipal Utilities Authority.
To, in fact, ask them to have official West Hampton representation to that body. Any discussion? Any further discussion?
I really don't like to be like, you throw something out at us without, talking about it or thinking it through, and you want a resolution or a motion immediately. Because we've talked about this in the past, where we want a little time, and we've been very good about it. I don't see why we just can't call and ask them.
We can't call because we want a documented communication to them, and we can't have a documented communication without a majority agreeing to it.
Okay, well, perhaps at the next meeting, we in our closed session, or no, executive session, we can talk about it.
Well, we got a motion, a second, so let's just go to vote.
I do want to say, though, I just want to make sure that with the MUA being CC'd on there, that there isn't a conflict of interest, and that I should be voting if the MUA is involved. As long as I have no issue with sending it. I mean, I make the donuts, and I don't know anything on the business end of it, but...
This is one of the reasons why I'd like to jump into it, the same night, that you have to look through it and see if there is a conflict.
Our point is there's nothing to look through. We all agree we want representation. You said it yourself, I said. But Mr. Solicitor, would you clarify his concern? He has a rightful concern.
If the MUA is CC'd on it, I think that would kind of force me to abstain.
I think you do whatever you're comfortable with, John. I mean, you're not, there's no benefit that you're deriving from the vote, and then what the residents of West Hampton would derive.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
you're
okay
fine, conflict-wise, but you got to do whatever you're comfortable with.
And would John's recommendation be accurate? Right? He recommended the appropriate person or governing body to send this letter to is the council versus MUA, because the council makes the appointment.
If council's the one that actually makes the appointment, that would be the best one to target the letter to.
So that I'm clear, all we're simply doing is memorializing by way of official motion that we discussed it, and we're sending an official communication that we would like to have a member from West Hampton Township on their municipal utilities authority.
And that they would consider resumes forwarded to them by the township, by the governing body, as part of that.
But we're not going to attach resumes because we don't have...
No, we don't have resumes yet.
Okay. Roll call.
Lopez?
Yes.
Salisa?
No.
Wisniewski?
Yes.
Daniels?
Yes. All right. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Any other public comment? But our young scout, sir, would you have any comments, recommendations, or observations? And please do not feel free at all. I'm just so impressed that you're here and you sat through the whole thing, and we gave you a fair representation of what government looks like working together.
Did you take notes?
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, sir. Any additional comment? Going close. Moving right along. Hopefully our firefighters are safe out there tonight. Anything crazy, Chief? Not sure. Okay. All right. Chief, got anything?
I would just like to thank the Township Committee, Township Administrator for authorizing the hiring of two Class 2 officers. Much needed, and looking forward to both
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Chief, Chief? Anything?
No.
Luann? Mr. Solicitor?
Nothing additional.
No, Maria?
I just want to say congratulations to the new hires and how much I enjoyed the way you guys were positioned here because as a mom, I just loved seeing the mom's eyes just beaming with pride at their sons. It was really, I really enjoyed it. And then I just want to point out that the Recreation Department still has openings for all of their summer camps. So if you hear people who, even though school's out already, we still have room throughout the summer. And we're looking to fill up some spaces, so spread the word.
Dads matter. That was one proud dad here tonight.
He was.
He was.
I told Maria.
I saw a couple tears.
As a mom, I loved it. He goes,
Yeah.
see the dad? I go, I was too busy.
That was good stuff. Thank you. Marion?
I don't have anything.
No? Trish, you got anything?
Actually, West Hampton Township Recreation Department, Maria already stated that we have the summer camps. You can either go on the website or the brochure is actually, you can get it right upstairs in the rec office. And it's summer camps, and they start on June 26th. The week of June 26th is the first week of the camp. And they'll run through the week of August 14th. And it's a variety of camps. It's a choice of like soccer, lacrosse, field hockey. Then they have volleyball, softball. But you can also do a multi-sport camp, which I think is great if a child can't decide. But
There's also arts and crafts. That's a different flyer.
right, and on the next page is arts and crafts, swimming. So it's getting more and more extensive. So if you know of anybody, Janet, I don't know if you signed up your grandchildren, but you can still get the for sure.
Lego this year?
You know what? I don't know. I
think it is. I think I saw something like that.
I saw Lego, but it's not on this.
There's also a Lego one.
Yeah,
on a
there's
different
Yeah, but
flyer.
it's on a different flyer. Yes, but Lego too. But if you go on the website, it tells you all the other activities. And thank you for coming. It was nice that it was a very civil meeting. You know, this is freedom of speech and a democracy, but it's nice when people respect each other's opinions and, you know, we have like a conversation that's civil. So it was good.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm sorry. Sorry, John. Go.
Nothing this evening, Mayor.
Sure, man. You was over there all quiet. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Sure?
Absolutely.
Okay. Not even on the Cullen Way? Go ahead. Thank you, John.
I just want to thank the residents for coming out and department heads, keep up the good work. As Ms. Curran said, she saw me earlier, I'm a normal guy, I like to be treated like a normal person. And there was one thing up here, and normally I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I do think one of my colleagues owes the other members up here an apology. We adopted a social media policy a little over a month ago, and I find it a little inappropriate that in the middle of a meeting that we are having, a very heated discussion where a lot of residents come up, that a committee person would go on there to make comments and call his colleagues incompetent. I find that really disrespectful, and I think that if we want to preach about doing the right thing and respecting each other and coming together, there's no place for anything like that. That's it.
Okay, thank you. I don't know where to go from here. Thank you. Pardon me? Oh, no, go ahead.
Good evening. I just want to thank all the residents for coming out. We really do appreciate it. I just wanted to give an update to the residents about a very, 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 very productive meeting that we held on Friday morning. The mayor was there, myself was there representing the township committee, along with our township engineer, our township planner, our land development board chair, the township construction official, the township administrator, the township solicitor, basically the township's development team, if you will. We've talked about lessons learned of mistakes done in the past regarding land use, development, and to get all of the minds, Lord knows a lot of minds smarter than myself, all together in one room to discuss the township's long-term needs. I think it was the first one that I've ever been as a part of the committee. Not sure if they've been done before my time on the committee, but some of the topics that we were discussing were council on affordable housing, how to appropriately distribute the share of affordable housing needed throughout the township, the need for the township center, and coming up with a serious game plan to get that town center going. The third thing that was discussed was the need for an emergency operations center. There's still many ideas floating on how to do that, but definitely the fire department needs a new home, and our police department, we need a new home. And to get all the professionals in one room to start planning and talking about how to do this and do it the right way. It was an amazing experience. I was really honored, and I left really excited for being a part of it. Mayor would continue to talk about it if he would like, but a lot of folks smarter than myself in that room advising us and pointing out lessons learned. You cited about your traffic concerns in the residential area where the Superwa was going. We learned at that meeting that the Ingerman project, for an example, that tract of land is zoned commercial, not residential, and yet we built a residential unit there. A portion of the Project Freedom, although a portion of it is residential, the other section of it is commercial, is zoned commercial. So there are lessons that we're learning, and I'm jotting them down, and hopefully we can learn from those lessons and ensure that we do a better job moving forward. But it all starts with getting the planning team together and having them mentor us and write out a plan for us, and we need to follow it religiously. So I'm really excited about it. So thank you, everybody who came out tonight.
Absolutely. Just to piggyback on that real quick, many residents, if not all here, should know that many years ago we had commissioned a study. The Township Committee at that time, circa 2009-10, had received some funding from the Department of Community Affairs for a vision plan for West Hampton Township. It was pretty aggressive when it was a longitudinal study that went across many segments of our community. Many people was involved in it. The HP, environmental, Mr. Guerrero, help me out.
Environmental Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Along with many other members. And basically through that study, over a period of time, there were some seven goals that were identified in it. And we have talked about it over the years when we were actually going to sit down and look at various things like COA. And while COA is not an official identity, how many affordable units in West Hampton Township we will have to end up with. We understand that this body has no longer any will to build any more affordable units in District 1, that we all pretty much agree that they should be spread out across the community, if you will, and exactly where would they go? If any of us had to answer that question today, quite frankly, we could not answer that question, and that was the purpose of one of the purposes of Friday, to also look at the definite need for a new fire department / EMS / emergency management center that could include our police department, as they are quickly running out of space. And what would that look like, and how we pre-position and plan it. We know that our fire department is really falling down literally as the usage has increased, and the original built-out design was never built to accommodate what has it come to know now these days. Also, item number 5 was to create a recognizable space, an identity for West Hampton Township, or a center of space, if you will, and that's the West Hampton Township Center. And that's one of the things that we looked at, and it was a fourth one that the Deputy Mayor talked about. I, too, left there excited, I think that we had a very lively discussion with professionals around the room, and we look forward to the next process in that. The Wawa that is going to go up, while there's some, it's going up to the chagrin of some residents. I can tell you, by and large, a majority of the residents that I had an opportunity to poll by way of knocking on doors in District 1, largely centered around that they were absolutely happy to see a Wawa, that the interior Wawa, West Hampton does not have any gas stations. It's almost two things are factual. One is there's a Wawa there today. That it is surely a dated product. Surely could use benefit from the setbacks from a traffic management standpoint. I'm usually there almost every morning, and I can tell you, right now, either cars or tractor trailers or other service delivery trucks are parking on the side of the road or parking on the grass areas, as there's just not any place for anybody to park. In the morning, I'm hoping with the setbacks that it will mitigate some of the traffic woes and issues. There was a resident who complained to me about smelling gas fumes, and I said that we all should be worried in the region if that was the case, that from a gas fumes perspective, because, the technology of building gas stations, gas tanks, and the government regulations are much more strenuous than they were when the other two gas stations on those other two adjacent corners were in fact realizing if we didn't smell any gas. And I'm very hopeful or confident that we won't smell any now. As the deputy mayor pointed out, it's a commercial, it's zoned commercial. By way of the fullest of disclosure, as I said on the Land Development Board, I voted in the affirmative, and it was a unanimous vote. I can tell you, again, most of the residents that I spoke to will be consumers, first-hand consumers, not to mention that jobs will be created, and I just think that it's a good thing for that corner. I think that with the Walgreens on one corner, with the Wawa and the new realized restaurant, hopefully, I'm very hopeful that the owners of the other two properties, which I consider to be eyesores and somewhat dilapidated, will come in, and it will spirit and spark the growth of those two corners. So I think we have a lot to be excited about on those two corners. And, in the abstract or in the alternative, I don't ever like to move from, I guess, adjudication or legislative, which is not the best word that I was looking for, but what we do here from the perspective of being fearful of what someone's going to do if we do or don't do something. However, I do know that that store is a dated store, and the Wawa brand has been saying for a long time that they, if perhaps that they cannot build or, in fact, improve upon that area, that they might even consider selling. Any alternative, I'd rather have a Super Wawa out there than a proposed 612 or those other stores where the quality, professionalism, and the conditions are totally eroded and probably would give rise to our police being even more busier than what they have been in recent times. So those are just some of my thoughts, and while I can understand it's one of those things that I think moving forward is in the best interest of District 1 and the community at large. 2, I'd like to congratulate all of the graduating 8th graders from this West Hampton Middle School. Had an opportunity to speak to these graduates. This class is on fire. I think they all have been uniquely on fire, but this class distinguished itself in a way like no other class. There's a movie out called Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington and some other characters, actors that are in it that I think totally, if you will, highlighted the time and the condition of the day, and some challenges, and how people together rose above those inordinate challenges. Our 8th graders this year, in a moment, really capturing all that we have taught them over these 8 years in West Hampton Township, walk towards their First Amendment rights. All 5 of them, if you ask me. You know, and they simply petitioned a body within their school board, and simply said that we think we have a team here that could go all the way. And not to get into it left or right or any way politically, but they simply petitioned. And because they did, like Lynn Berman would say, they could go all the way. And they, in fact, did go all the way. And so in going all the way, they even managed to accomplish something that they had never done before. And the 2017 women's basketball team, I think, became a metaphor for just greatness here in West Hampton Township. And I tell you, I'm just so proud of that class. And they don't have to look to anybody else for any strength or anything, not to remember the Titans, remember these Giants of 2017. So I'm excited about that. And they sung a beautiful song, 525,600 minutes, Seasons of Love, and they absolutely hit that song. And I think totally epitomized what this year was all about from their educational experience. I think that's all I have. And I'll
With the 8th grade class this year, what impressed me the most is what our children learned. There was a young man there that had a disability.
Yes.
And when they spoke about this young man, and my granddaughter and many of her friends who accomplished him every day and helped him through his difficult times, because he did not want to walk with his graduating class.
Right.
And they talked him into doing it, and it would break your heart tonight to watch him come out and get this diploma and right across the floor, the stage, and off the stage, and back behind a closed door. But every one of those students respected this young man, and it was really awesome to hear what my granddaughter had to say about him.
Yeah, Ms. Curran, thank you for standing and bringing that to my attention. And she's right. I almost gave it up, and I don't think that's any surprise to anyone in this township or anybody in this venue, that when I see things like that, it touches me emotionally, and I'll even give up a few every now and then, and that was really a warm moment. And when those 2 young kids came out and sung those solos on 525,000, I mean, absolutely floored it. Yep, Ms. Jones, you were there. You know what I mean. I'm sorry. Hey. Absolutely. I told them to sing that song. Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Adjourn. Motion.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Good night, sir.